Hi, it's Natalie Jayne. Welcome to 15 Minutes with Visionaries. I have an awesome guest for you today. His name's Julian Noel. He's someone that I have worked with myself, someone who supported me in the birth of what I now do, and is a visionary, a true visionary at heart. In fact, he's the visionary of Shine Global, and I would love to introduce you to him. Here he is. Julian, how are you today?
I'm great, thanks Natalie. Thanks very much for inviting me to be a part of this 15 Minutes with Visionaries. I'm looking
It took
forward
a little bit for us to get on the call, but we're here now.
to 45 minutes to get 15 minutes. That's not too bad.
So it's been an hour. We'll have an hour, but everyone else will only have 15 minutes. Julian, I wanted to start with your vision because your vision is huge and your vision captivated me, and it captivates and has captivated hundreds of people, probably thousands of people by now. And so I want the audience to know what Shine is, what Shine Global is, and what your vision is.
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Well, the vision of Shine is to enlighten the world. And our mission is to create a global community of change makers. So people across all disciplines, whether they be business, personal growth, spiritual development, education, science, design, any form of innovation, and anyone who has a brighter vision for the future. Shine is the meeting ground for them. And so the whole notion is to build a community. And the way we do that is through events, both live and also online events. And I guess the vision that really sits behind this for me is that when we come together, when great people, great-hearted people come together, and there's a sense of community and trust, people will work together. People will collaborate. People will remind one another of their own great vision and encourage people to make these visions real in the world.
Absolutely. I can speak from firsthand that the time that I was working with Shine really gave birth to my next phase, my next career, and so many people that we were working on the birth of Shine with have gone on to do incredible things, and a lot of them have collaborated, and we're all still circling Shine. It's built a beautiful community, and that's just one example. What other examples have you got of those collaborations and some of those projects that have come out of Shine?
Yeah, look, I've just recently returned from Antarctica. And that was really a journey into Antarctica with 117 fellow entrepreneurs. And it was the whole notion of, once again, of creating community, of people who are change makers, people who are at the top of their game. I really do think that the people who will change the world, or who can change the world, are entrepreneurs. I personally have lost faith in government. I don't look to government at any level, really, to support real change. I think government has become a self-serving institution, and it seems to me to be full of lies. I'm not a political kind of person, but I really have. I don't look to government for any real positive change. I look to individuals. I look to human beings, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and I think people who are entrepreneurs are the ones who can make the biggest social impact through businesses that really attend to social change and to making a difference in the world. And so the trip to Antarctica was a collaboration between Shine and another group of entrepreneurs. So that's just, I guess that's one way of kind of stepping up and stepping into something and collaborating with like-minded people.
Are all entrepreneurs visionary in nature?
That's a great question. I guess I'm really interested in what I would call a conscious entrepreneur. I think a conscious entrepreneur really works with the notion of purpose, that their work is aligned to a higher purpose, a deep purpose, that really connects with more universal principles than purely profit. So I think a conscious entrepreneur is absolutely interested in purpose, people, planet, and profit. They're the 4 Ps. And no, not every entrepreneur, has a vision for a greater humanity, but I like hanging out with the ones that do. And there's a hell of a lot of them. There's a
Yeah,
hell
those
of a lot
conscious
of
principles are visionary in nature when you can see how that they all
them.
intertwine, and they need to
Yeah,
intertwine to really work together. I call that visionary, absolutely.
yeah,
Tell me about
yeah.
your journey. I know that holding a vision personally, and also having seen you hold your vision through through incarnations of Shine, isn't always easy. Tell me about
Yeah.
some of that journey, and tell me about what you've learned about bringing a vision to life.
Mm. Yeah, look, if I go back to the P's again, so purpose, people, planet, and profit. I think if you're a visionary, you better get used to another P, and that's pain. I think
Yes.
that's probably characterized my journey has been growth and needing to grow. And there's a certain arrogance, I think, that comes, I'm speaking from myself, that comes with holding a vision. And I could get quite haughty and think, oh shit, I'm holier than thou, and look at me, and the universe has selected me to hold this vision, etc. But there's nothing quite as humbling as taking those first steps towards making a vision real. Because I think if we don't take the action aligned with our vision, then we're just really bullshitting ourselves. I think we're deluding ourselves, and it's more of a fantasy than a vision. A vision is something that irrevocably pulls you into action. You have to take action. Whereas a fantasy can kind of sit there and go, oh, one day, someday, I'm going to do this, and everyone goes, wow, that's amazing. Gee, that'd be so cool. But a vision and a visionary is really you walk into a room and you close the door. You know, there's no way out of that room other than to build in that room what you promised that you would build. So I think that one of the most important things I've learned is the importance of alignment. That the people that I partner with and collaborate with, I've made the conscious choice to only collaborate with people who have more resources than I do. I was always tending to collaborate what I call down with people who had less than me at a time when I had nothing other than a dream. So now I always partner with people who have more resources, who have a vested interest in seeing organisations like Shine flourish. I think meeting grounds for great-hearted, great-minded, high-functioning people that Shine provides, and I need to partner with people who can meet those financial requirements and are willing to do that. I think that's really important.
Absolutely. I think that, that point where fantasy becomes vision is so fundamental in creating a reality of our vision, and partner and having the money conversation, partnering with people that can support us. I'm a visionary by nature too, to really bring that on the ground, and that has very much to do with money and resources.
Yeah,
Absolutely, it's something that I've learnt the hard way
yeah,
to make sure we've got those foundations in place.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
I think the money conversations are a really important one. And we can only kind of create out in the world what we've already established in our own being. And it's been a big journey for me around money and worthiness, etc. And coming back from that project in Antarctica, where you're in the company of people whose businesses are turning over 200 and 300 million a year, where money is just handled, and they have a handle on money, they understand money, and money's just a thing. Um, Whereas quite often, I think when you're a visionary, you kind of go, oh shit, I'm a bit embarrassed. I don't have the money that I want, and I can walk around feeling like the poor cousin at the table. rather than I sit at the table and I go, I've got something really important and powerful to offer this conversation. And if you want to play with me, this is the deal. This is how we will progress.
Yeah,
And since
sorry,
making,
Julian, I cut in. I just wanted to ask about that thing that you have to offer, that might not be money, and it's your vision, and your particular vision is the way you connect people, and your particular power is, and gift is the connection of people. But how do you go from having this intangible aspect and feeling and knowing its worth and being able to sit at a table with people with money when we're often the person that is having the negative conversation around money? What's that shift?
yeah, look, I think for me it was, when you do something really naturally, when you do something and it's so easy for you, for me that was a very hard thing to put a value on, because I thought that everyone could do what I do. Like, my gift really is in connecting people and putting people together and creating incredible projects and project teams, and then calling together really compelling groups of people and having fascinating conversations that other people want to listen to. And because I do that so easily, I thought that anyone could do it. But I've since realized that not everyone can. And when I realized that, it was like, okay, this is valuable, and I've connected people and they've got that, and they make a lot of money, and they take my ideas and my thoughts and they apply them, and there's a strong commercial, reward. So I've just inserted myself in that conversation and Shine in that conversation. And yeah, that's when Shine started to make money. I guess it was about valuing and understanding the commercial value of what it is I offer, and to start thinking in a much more commercial way about it, rather than being, the last cab off the rank. Put yourself at the front of the queue.
Yeah, it's such a valuable step to valuable the intangible aspect of ourselves, especially the people that I work with, and a lot of them that will be listening. Not everybody does do what we do. There is something completely unique, and yours truly is that collaboration and connection piece. Tell me, what's happening with Shine at the moment? What events are coming up lately?
Oh, look, we've got a couple of really exciting things on the drawing board. One of them is I just can't mention their name at the moment because we haven't kind of got to the contract stage, but really looking to create a national tour around Australia and also New Zealand, and creating a one-day event, really showcasing change makers, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But also there's going to be a major figure that we're looking to involve in that, and really kind of expanding the notion of the Shine community, and really calling together people and going, hey, look, you've got a vision, it's really worthwhile, and go into action, and whatever way we can help you, we will, And we're also we're also involved with a project in New Zealand with the Maori community, and then we're also looking to do a project up in the Cook Islands, and then also we've established Shine Entrepreneurs, which is a really fantastic community for entrepreneurs to be part of, and we've developed a curriculum in there around what we're calling the 7 intelligences that relate to people, purpose, planet, and profit. And we're also right on the edge of creating Shine Women. And what we're looking to do is create immersions, so retreats. We really want to call together, amazing people and pop them in a location for 3 or 4 days, and let's just have incredible conversations. And let's, out of that, create collaboration. Let's inspire one another, re-inspire, and continue to make great stuff happen.
You've got an event this weekend, right? That's the Shine Entrepreneurs
Oh,
event?
yes, yes, yes,
Might as
yes,
well
yes,
tell the
yes,
world.
yeah. Okay, so it's a 3-day event, and really, we do these 4 times a year. The Shine Entrepreneurs, they're entrepreneurial immersions, and it's very much about connecting to the collective wisdom. I'm kind of over the idea that the person at the front of the room is the only one who should be listened to. I think the person at the front of the room should generate ideas and thoughts. But, if you have a room of 30 or 40 people, you've probably got, say on average 20, that could be 600 years worth of experience in the room at, business from an international, national, and local level. So I'm much more interested in creating really deep and powerful conversations around that and creating stuff. So we've got a whole bunch of entrepreneurs who've just come back from the Antarctica. They're going to be part of this 3-day thing, and there's some very exciting people involved in that. We're sort of through the internet bringing in some people from America as well. So it's a real exploration into the vision that sits behind your entrepreneurial venture, and then connecting it to, well, let's make it real. What are the structures and strategies that you really do need to have in place from people who are experienced? One of the presenters, a great guy, Domingo Silva, he has built 8 businesses from scratch, and 5 of those he's developed into multi-million-dollar businesses. And he says, look, there's 8 steps that you need to take to create a multi-million-dollar business. The guy's 39 years old, and he's achieved all of that, and he's not even 40. So I like to sort of really profile and showcase people who actually have done the stuff. They're not theorizing, they're not thinking, they haven't written a book about it. They've actually been in the trenches. They know what it's actually like to have a vision, to have a commercial reality, to create a business, to create, money, and who understand what that whole process is about, and who do it consciously. So he's one of them. And then there's another fantastic woman, Maria Simone, and she works with people around raising money for their businesses. But she does it from a conscious perspective, basically saying if you're not connected to your own inner place of abundance, don't think you're going to be able to raise 1, 2, 5, 10 million bucks, or even 30,000 bucks. So she's actually been coaching me around money and all my little deep, dark secrets that I like to hide away from the world. She kind of flushes them out and then gives my inner compass. She redirects my inner compass towards this is what you need to focus on. And it's so liberating to work with people who have already walked the journey. No use going to study from someone who hasn't fucking been anywhere. And there are so many people like that out there. They'll take all your money and they'll coach you and they'll mentor you. But you say, have you actually done what I want to do? They go, oh no, but I've read the book and I've been to uni and da-da-da. So that's one of the things with Shine Entrepreneurs is the collective wisdom. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too. So if someone
Yeah.
wants to find out about anything that Shine does and all this weekend, they go to shineglobal.com.au. Is that right?
That's correct.
You've
Yeah.
cut out.
And they can email me directly.
There you are.
Yes, they can. Yeah, they can email me directly through the website, shineglobal.com.au. Yeah.
Great, great. And I wanted to end, Julian, with a little bit more about vision and actually just ask you, where do you believe vision comes from?
I think vision's transpersonal. I think that there's a part of our intelligence, part of our apparatus, that is connected directly to universal awareness or universal consciousness, and that there is a womb of great beauty, and that it is seeking expression in the world, and that there is an intelligence and a frequency that when we attune ourselves and when we listen to that place, I think a question to ask is what is seeking to emerge, and then to engage really deeply with that question, and then to be in service of the answer. And I think true vision comes from that very quiet, still place, which is the womb of creativity. It's not my vision. It's a vision that's seeking expression. And I find that when I take the time and go into and align with that, that's where effortless flow towards the creation and manifestation of vision occurs. You can always tell if you're on track if it's effortless.
What's seeking to emerge? I love that question. That's something that you've often asked, and that's the one thing that stays with me all the time. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Julian. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you
Oh,
this
brilliant.
weekend,
Yeah.
and I'll talk to you soon. See you,
Thank you very much for the
everybody.
opportunity. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.